Hey, sister. Welcome to Stay Salty and Bright, the podcast where kingdom women like yourself are reclaiming your faith, stepping into radical freedom, and building the abundant life God designed for your lifestyle and for your business. I'm your host, Anna Maria Jinga, and this is the space where God and growth align. I'm so glad you're here. Let's stay salty and bright together. What does she do with the emotions that bubble up, such as resentment, such as guilt, such as shame, such as fear, anxiety, maybe a little bit of depression? Maybe she hasn't seen sunlight in 4 to 5 business days, so she is feeling very overwhelmed and undercharged. So she finds herself lacking and managing so many emotions, yet she doesn't put herself first. Hello, hello, my darlings. Welcome to another amazing week here on the Stay Salty and Bright podcast. I am your host, Anna. And if you're watching this online, my loves, welcome to my couch. We're shifting gears a little bit into our space of recording, and I'm trying something different just because I feel like it. You know how I love to switch things up with branding, with the things we talk about, with now places where you get to see me more. So now we get to hang out for this episode on my couch and we get to talk a little bit about a topic that I have touched a little in the past, but I really truly believe we need to talk more about it. And that is, women are not meant to juggle, we are meant to hold. I actually want to ask you this, and I want you to sit with it for a moment. Have you found yourself in a space where there are so many things on your plate that you feel like you need to juggle them, to throw them up in the air so it feels lighter as you manage some other things and catch the other ones and throw the ones that you were dealing with before? And it's a constant up and down, nonstop, where your emotions feel scattered all over the place. You feel anxious because what if you drop something? You feel nervous because what if you make a mistake? You feel like your nervous system is constantly on edge and you're never able, ready, and comfortable to feel like, oh, I finally caught it. We're good. There's no we're good moment in any of that. Have you found yourself feeling that lately? Sit with it for a moment. Let me know. Let me know what you feel. Where in your body does that land? A lot of you might be feeling, Anna, tell me about it. I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, I'm taking care of my husband's stuff, I'm taking care of the house, I'm taking care of everyone's errands, and I do so much. How am I going to handle all of this? Or even more so, I work for someone else, so my time is even more shrinked up, Anna. My time is between serving others and serving my family, and I have no time for myself at all. I keep juggling more and more and more, and it doesn't feel right. Does that sound like you? Or maybe someone you know, maybe a friend. Let's call that friend Joanne. Let's say Joanne has been dealing with everything. She is a career woman. She's making the money. She's taking care of the kids. The kids are going to school. She's taking care of dinners 5, 6 times a week. She's taking care of everything because her husband's also working. They also maybe have a dog or a cat. They're also taking care of that. Joanne keeps adding to her plate. Let's go to PTA meetings. Let's go to friend groups. Let's go to play dates. Let's add more sports for the kids so they have more things to do. She keeps adding to her plate. She says, I have to make it happen because everyone else is doing it and they seem fine doing it. So she keeps juggling and juggling and juggling and juggling a million and one things. Yet, she doesn't put herself first in any of those situations. She is not even a priority. She's not even on the list of to dos. She's just somewhere there far away. And when Joanne finds herself constantly juggling, what does she do with the emotions that bubble up, such as resentment, such as guilt, such as shame, such as fear, anxiety, maybe a little bit of depression? Maybe she hasn't seen sunlight in 4 to 5 business days, so she is feeling very overwhelmed and undercharged. So she finds herself lacking and managing so many emotions, yet she doesn't put herself first. So what does Joanne do? She numbs it out. She numbs everything out. She either binge eats or forgets completely to eat at all. She doesn't have time to work out, so whenever she has a bit of time, she just puts in a workout, which also burns her out because it doesn't feel rewarding. It just feels like another chore. So her mental awareness and mental space feel more and more and more and more pressured. Do you find yourself in Joanne? I know I did many times. Many, many times. I even went through a whole burnout about 7, no, 9 years ago. My son was 1. I went through a horrible burnout because I put everything on my plate and I didn't know how to hold it. I learned how to juggle it because that's what I learned from my mom. That's what I learned from my friends. You just juggle on and on and on and on until you retire. And then it gets quiet and you get bitter and sad looking behind at your life where you didn't prioritize yourself. You didn't choose something good for yourself and your family. You sat in a career or a business or a job or anything that didn't fulfill your heart. So your heart feels heavy like stone and bitter. You feel ashamed for not knowing how to do life better, but you're also old, so your body feels really heavy and numb and, God forbid, ill as well, because you didn't learn the difference between juggling and holding. So let's dive into that. What's the difference between juggling and holding, my friends? You have that moment when I mentioned earlier, you keep throwing things up in the air so that it doesn't feel so pressured on you. So you keep throwing things up in the air, waiting for them, knowing that they're gonna fall, but you don't let them fall. So it's a lot of running back and forth between tasks, between challenges, between roles, between everything, thinking that at one point, I'm just going to finish it. I'm just going to finish it and it's going to be fine. But you don't finish it because that's your role. Your job is your role. Your motherhood is your role. Your husbandhood is your role. Talking to women right now. Your spouse is your role. Your house is your role. Your PTA meetings is your role, your workout is your role, everything is a role. Yet you don't know how to not distance yourself from everything, thinking that you need to be just one at a time. You don't know how to move yourself into fully accepting the fact that you can hold all of them. The moment that shifted for me was the moment I realized I can just expand my emotions, expand my capacity, realizing what is actually worth holding and what is not, what needs my attention and what does not, what I can prioritize and what I can delegate, how to ask for help to not do everything myself, because while we are super women and we are daughters of the king and we are capable of great and mighty things, we're also one person and we do not need to do everything. When I learned the difference between priorities, boundaries, and juggling, that's when I started learning how to hold, because I wasn't holding the million and one things on my plate. I was holding what was important. For me, what was important was to be the master of my emotions so that I don't feel constantly like a boat on waves going from one emotion to another, never catching wind of a clear path forward. The moment I was a master of my emotions was the moment I realized we're fine. Everything that comes my way is fine. That also helped the moment when I came back to Christ and I said, hey, my emotions are also directly linked with how much faith I have that God has my back. That's also a shift that happened. Then another thing that happened, and it's the most beautiful thing that you can do for yourself too, it's boundaries. The moment I set boundaries with people I spoke to, people that knew about my life, various people on the internet that were draining my energy, the moment I put boundaries around how much of me I get to offer the world for free and how much of me actually is needed to be offered for free to the world, is the moment my energy came back to me. I'm available for so many things. When I say, yes, I can help you with this, is when I first check in with myself. Do I have energy for this right now, or shall I put it for an hour later? If it's an hour later, it's totally fine. If it's, hey, let's talk tomorrow because I'm busy today, even if that busy is, I need to manage my emotions better, that's still busy because I'm doing me. Because the moment I realize that prioritizing me and my well being, not from a prideful, egotistic, selfish way, but from a place of, I need to pour in you from a very full and overflowing cup so I can pour goodness and not drama and not lack and not my own problems in your cup. I don't want to mix problems. That's not where we're at. So the moment I created those boundaries around first checking in and seeing what's important. Hey, do I have energy for this? Yes, no. If it's a no, with lots of kindness and without guilt, I will say, let's talk tomorrow. Let's talk next week. Let's catch up. Put a pin in that and we will get to that the moment I have a moment because I want to give you my full attention. It brought so much more goodness and abundance in my friendships and relationships. Also, I put boundaries around who I dedicate my time to, how I approach certain people. And sometimes those certain people are even family members, really close friendships. Maybe some friendships that you have, my loves, are needing a reassessment. Maybe some friendships need better boundaries. Maybe some friendships have been completely done. Their chapter has been completely done, but you're holding them still alive because you feel guilty. Assess that and then make a choice from that space. The third and final thing that has worked for me was I prioritized the three main things that are highly important for me: what brings me joy, what brings me peace, and what brings me fulfillment. And all of those things, joy, peace, and fulfillment, have been met in my family. My husband and son get my full attention at all times. In my faith, God is always first, no matter what. No matter the heaviness, no matter the lightness, no matter the cheering or crying, God is first and we talk to Him first. And then fulfillment and everything else is also met in my business, in my branding, in my movement. Joy, peace, and fulfillment are met in all three: my purpose, my family, and my God. And because of those three, I've noticed one thing. I'm a better person for me and for the world the moment I shifted into having that awareness. What is true priority? This. Once those three are met, everything else falls into place. Health, money, wellness, resources, everything falls into place. Better friendships, more companionship, more collaborations, more time together. It all comes very aligned when you know what your three major pillars are in your life. So, for this week, my loves, as you're learning the shift between juggling and holding, I invite you to journal this. But before I invite you to journal, I have a little story because it's going to help you journal better. This past week, I had some very high, joyful experiences that brought a lot of growth in my business, a lot of growth in my husband's business, and some very big shifts that are opening up a chapter for us, which is fantastic. We also had to, as I was, as I was mentioning in a previous episode, we're close to closing a 17-year-old chapter. We closed the chapter, and that chapter was my beautiful fur baby, Gypsy, who was with us and with me all the way from my days in Romania to now, way before I had a family, way before I had anyone, way before I even moved out of my parents' house. I was able to have that cat with me. So all of those goodness, all of the highs and all of the lows, I got to hold this week without feeling the heaviness of needing to juggle anything. That's one thing that I want you to work on. When you are thinking of what is it you juggle versus what is it you need to hold, make a list of true priorities. What are your three major pillars? What is bringing you joy, peace, and fulfillment? Or if there are other things that you want as priorities, focus on those. But what are your main three pillars? And then focus on what needs to stop juggling and what actually needs to be put on your plate to be able to hold it, because that's really important, my loves. And I hope this discussion will meet you where you're at and will help you move forward into more self-leadership, more confidence, and more alignment in your business, in your lifestyle, and in your overall well-being. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure you share this with a friend. Make sure you share this with someone that definitely needs this discussion as well. And until next week, my loves, stay fabulous, stay
Hey,
brilliant,
hey,
and remember,
sister. Thank you
stay
so
salty
much
and
for
bright.
tuning in to Stay
Bye
Salty
now.
and Bright today. If this episode blessed you and stirred your heart towards even more faith and freedom, make sure you follow the show so you never miss what God is doing here. And would you do me a huge favor? Share this episode with another Kingdom sister out there who needs this encouragement right now. Thank you so much for joining this week. Remember, let's stay salty and bright together. I'll see you next time.